Okay, how are you doing, everybody? We are going to have a look at the UK chart right now. There are lots of interesting things to talk about now. Slightly different format, all going well. The chart will be appearing over here, right? So it's the first time I'm doing it, so I really hope that works out. Otherwise, I'll just have to pop the chart in somewhere else, but I'll demonstrate sort of over there. Right, okay. First things first, the UK chart. In January, Pluto, which is now in Aquarius, will be opposing the United Kingdom, Jupiter in Leo in the 10th house. Leo very much connected to royalty. Jupiter, of course, all about powerful influences, rich people, the government, power and authority, right? So Pluto, obviously, in Aquarius, opposing Jupiter in Leo. What will that mean? Now, we already know that things are shaky with Starmer. As I discussed in the preamble I did to the UK chart, which you can have a look on my channel, Starmer has hit the ground running in terms of demoralizing, disgusting, humiliating, and upsetting the nation. He's upset nearly every demographic. Over Christmas, we hear his brother sadly passed, and we were also, prior to that, hearing that he needed to take time out, have a holiday. The pressure was really getting to him. He's already starting to crack. He's only been there 6 months. So what does this mean? Now, during the last 6 months since he's been in power, he's done nothing but globetrot, meet other leaders. And now we hear he's been traveling up and down to Leeds to see his ailing brother. How in charge is he? Is he ever even here? Is he hands-on? What is he even doing? Will we already see moves for his removal as soon as January? Question mark. Now, the next thing, because this has a strong royal focus with the Leo influence with Jupiter, what's going on with the royals? Now, we hear Charles still having his cancer treatment, right? Kate's not really looking that well, and we're not sure what's going on with her. What will we see in the new year? What was going to happen regarding Kate? Is she permanently going to be moved aside? Is Charles going to abdicate? Will we see further changes within royals? Now, we know their popularity is plummeting. As I was saying, everything Charles stands for is now repugnant to the UK, who are waking up to this powerful influence behind the scenes. People are realizing that net zero is there to decimate their lives, and the lives of these rich and powerful are not going to change. They see the hypocrisy, and they realize that Charles is not standing with them. All the kind of nationalistic patriots who supported the royals are the first ones to be noticing this. And therefore, what's in it for the royals? They'll have to do something to kind of shake it up. Will they try and have Charles abdicate, bring William on board? Hopefully that'll create goodwill. And what will happen with Kate? Could we be finding answers to those questions in January? Now, the other important thing to note when I talk about Kate is, as George Galloway rightly pointed out, princesses tend to be very unlucky. Look what happened to Princess Grace with a car accident. They said, oh, maybe Stephanie was driving, but was there a conspiracy deeper than that? We know what happened with Princess Diana. And then there was Charlene of Monaco, came on the scene, former Olympic swimmer, beautiful, tall, statuesque, blonde, fit, healthy. The next thing, she's shaving her hair off. She's got an ear infection. She's not seen for months or years on end. She's back in South Africa having rehabilitation. We don't really know what was going on with Charlene, but you know, things don't tend to work out too well when it comes to the royals. Now, I mentioned Pluto opposing Jupiter in January. Then it's direct. It goes retrograde. It again opposes Jupiter in December. So we're going to see another wave of ructions with discontent, a lack of trust in the government. Perhaps then what? Starmer's then going to step down, or does he step down in January and then there's another person in December? This chaos in government continues. Who's really leading us, you know? And look at Starmer. He's got, like, talk about no charisma. Like George Galloway also said, and I happen to agree with him on this one, was this guy really a barrister? He doesn't seem to have the courtroom presence of a barrister. And he usually, every word is like one word, looks down. He reads everything. He can't even articulate anything off the cuff, on the spur of the moment. He's constantly rattled, shaky, referring to notes. You know, he's no ability to inspire confidence in the public. And, you know, obviously he's gone back on every promise. Where's the trust there? Okay. Now we know with Neptune entering Aries, there's been a theme in the UK history and the history of other countries of very young people being on the throne. So could we be moving into an era where, yes, Charles is going to move aside, William doesn't hack it for whatever reason, and we land up with one of the royals on the throne, the young royals on the throne, prior to the whole thing kind of just collapsing or being overthrown? Now, the economy. As Ernest Hemingway, I think it was, said, how do you go bankrupt? Well, very, very slowly and then extremely quickly. And we could see an unraveling of the economy extremely quickly. Now, we know what they did to Liz Truss to get rid of her, but they haven't yet done it with Rachel Reeves, but maybe it's coming. Another important element is Uranus, which is going to be retrograde. It's retrograde now. It'll be going direct on 23 degrees of Taurus, so it'll be spending a long time on the degrees of 23 and 24 of Taurus, in which case it's triggering Saturn in Leo in the UK chart, right? Okay, squaring Saturn in Leo. Now, when it triggers Saturn, public discontent, right? Saturn rules the IC, representing the public. It also represents the Tory party, a disintegration of the Tory party. So we could see Kemi Badder not going. I mean, she's only just been elected leader. She hasn't been hacking it at Prime Minister's question time. So between the beginning of the year and April, we could see Kemi going for it and getting the chop, and the Tories getting in Robert Jenrick or some other leader, maybe Penny Mordaunt, because they did always want her in the first place, didn't they? And they seem to be keen on going for women. Because Uranus is very disruptive and rebellious, and it's energizing Saturn, which rules the house of public opinion, you can see this public restlessness, the wanting for rebellion, to revolt, that discontent with the government, discontent with the whole political system is building to a pressure cooker. So we're definitely going to be feeling that. And obviously reform is soaking up all this negative energy, even though we have a very watered down version of reform at the moment. Now, let's talk about Pluto being opposed to Jupiter. Jupiter rules the third house of speech, so we're going to see big crackdowns on free speech. Keir Starmer, in his chart, Sun exactly conjunct Pluto in Virgo, an absolute meticulous, systematic authoritarian. Power hungry, not afraid of using and abusing power. He will crack down on speech. So we've already seen that people are terrified after the long prison sentences were given to people who spoke out about Southport, or who were perceived as encouraging rioting or even participating or forming rioting, were heavily penalized and suffered greatly and are in prison. People are getting very, very scared to speak up in the UK. So I see further crackdowns on free speech. We also see Elon Musk going backwards now. As soon as people criticized him about the H-1B1 visa, he's been suspending accounts, suspending people's blue ticks or whatever abilities they have on Twitter to earn money. So you can see that now Musk, he gained all the popularity, the free speech, genius or whatever this person's supposed to be. But already he's going backwards now. He's got Trump in, mission accomplished. And now he's going to crack down, as we can see. So he's lured you in, now he's shutting the door, right? Just to mention, these B21 visas that they talk about in America, we hear the same narrative in the UK. We need immigration because we're short of skills. Now, hasn't anyone asked, if you look at the rankings of universities, we have the best universities in the UK, the US, also China, Australia, and generally in Western Europe. The best universities, right? But somehow we cannot produce people with any skills. But all these third world countries, in the case of Africa, who do not have a university in the top 250, and in India don't have a university until 110 in the rankings, they can produce all these massively skilled people. I mean, you question it. Why aren't our universities doing it? You can also see the Elon Musk direction, civic nationalism. It's all about values. Everyone is kind of an American or a British person just waiting to get here so it can all happen for them. And it's all about the values and this vague thing about as long as people share the values, they can come. But no one knows what these values are. No one decided on them. And as far as I'm concerned, these values are kind of very vague. And what I would perceive as traditional British values are seeking adventure, the spirit of sports and competitiveness. All the great sports originated basically in the UK. Music, the sense of discovery, spirit of adventure, sailing the seas to discover new places, although that's also in common to the Spanish and Portuguese and to other Northern Europeans. The love and protection of animals, the literature, arts. This is all intrinsic to our values, who we are.